Ha, check that out. It wouldn't be an LDS stream if everything went according to plan, would it? So let's do that again. Hello and welcome once again to the amazing Rochester, New York, Rochester Parkour. Each and every Friday, we turn this place into a wonderful Nerf arena, although not this week, not this Friday, and possibly not for many Fridays to come. For, you know, we are on lockdown for the thing that must not be mentioned on YouTube, but that is okay because we're using this as a wonderful opportunity to explain and do something that we've been wanting to do for a really long time. It's the NPC stream. What is an NPC? An NPC are the wonderful characters that you see that appear on stream. Maybe I've tagged them with a blaster, maybe they've tagged me. More often than not, they're tagging me with blasters, and that's okay. That's part of the fun. And but we never really get to highlight certain elements or certain things that the NPCs do or whatnot. They just happen to be people that come every single week or almost every single week to our Nerf events, and it's amazing and it's wonderful. And today is a perfect opportunity where you get to bring all of them together and just kind of talk, figure out who they are, how long they've been in the Nerf hobby, any sort of like fun projects that they have going on. However, before I get into that, before we get into the actual NPC stream, I want to use this opportunity. If you do not know yet about the world's largest mod party, this is a really cool event that is happening in our global, it's for real, global community where everybody is coming together, and we are trying to host the largest, not physical, digital mod party. If you want to be a part of it, all you have to do is mod. I know, it's amazing, right? It's crazy. But there's gonna be a really cool lineup. I've got an image that I wanna show here. Very nice. This is an extreme, oops, sorry, then let's transition that through. This is a really amazing event. It's actually kind of amazing how quickly the organizers were able to put this together. They kind of just thought of this idea last week and have already confirmed so many people. This is going to be almost a 48-hour long complete stream. And yours truly, I'm going to be showing up on one of these TBD notices here on Sunday, the 5th of April. But otherwise, we've got some pretty big names here. I'm really excited for it. Wallcom's going to be in here. We got Alpha, Bradley Phillips, Spectre Armaments. We've got Kaba. We got a lot of Aussies actually joining on in. Just a Jolt, I'm really excited for that. Justin from Make Test Battle. Oh man, it's going to be so cool. We got Jesse from the the FDL. We've got Captain Xavier. We got Beret. Oh my goodness. So Lord Drac, Bobololo. This is going to be so cool. There's so many other names here. Take a look at this. There is a Facebook group event for it. If you want to, like, you know, just drop on by, find a spot that looks really cool and join on in. You can comment, share what you're working on, share what your projects are. It's going to be really amazing. You should all be there. It's going to be awesome. And yeah, I'm really excited to be a part of it. There will be prizes and drawings and raffles and whatnot. It's going to be a really cool event. So yeah, as always, chat is going on. So if you want to, you know, type some comments or whatever, by all means, go on through. I will try to moderate and monitor chat as much as I can. However, today, again, the whole point of today is the NPC stream. We've got a bunch of NPCs that have decided to join in. Some of them are only going to be doing audio. Some of them have decided to share video. I'll do my best to kind of transition through to the best of my ability and see what we can do. I was hoping, I will say this, I will introduce everybody that I have in stream right now in no real order. We've got Ben. Ben is coming back from last week. He's our game mod, technically still an NPC. You know, he plays around and does good stuff. We've got Jonathan, we've got Nate, we've got Eris, we've got Ian, we've got Alex and Liam, bunch of different characters from all over the country that come and play. Some of them are students, some of them are locals, but they all have joined in together to share their wonderful love of Nerf and our wonderful people in our community. So if, I mean, we're gonna do this to the best of our ability. If everybody could attempt to let's maybe like go down the list of Discord and say hi. That would be super cool. Again, there's no like rhyme or reason to this. How about this? I'm gonna call out your name, and if you just want to say hi, say something quick about yourself, we can do that. I'm gonna start off. I already have Liam open, so Liam, if you want to just say hi to everybody and be like, hey, what's going on?
Hello, my name's Liam. I'm hanging out in New Hampshire, and I'm going to be setting up my dart peg or my blaster wall pegboard thing in the back of the stream.
Very cool. We're moving on up. We've got Alex in stream. Alex is relatively new. I know he's not sharing video, but that's okay. We got a cool little image. Alex, go for it.
Greetings, everybody. Glad that we're still doing something during the off season or whatever this is, and I'm happy to say hello.
Very cool. Moving on up, we've got Ian. Ian, how you doing?
I'm good. Hey guys, I'm Ian. I'm a local. Sorry, I'm just kind of crap at this. Fun fact about me: I am the creator of the Craver.
Very cool. Very cool. Moving up, we've got Eris. Hey, Eris is joining. Nice. Very good. Your mic is muted. Uh-oh. Okay, we're gonna move on over. Going up to Ben. We'll bring back Eris. Uh-oh, Ben's mic is muted as well.
Hello, everyone. I'm the game mod for our game modes and whatnot, and I am happy to be here. Thank you so much, Aldos, for having me.
Moving on up, we've got Nate. Hello, Nate.
Hi, I'm Nate, and I've got a couple blasters.
That's a really cool pegboard, or I guess not really a pegboard. That's more like a rack. Got a blaster rack.
Yeah, like a firewall.
Very cool. And finally, we're bringing in Jonathan.
A couple blasters, huh? I'm Jonathan. I've been around you guys seeing me before, so happy to be here.
Very cool. All right, I'm gonna go back to Eris real quick just to see if Eris was able to fix her audio. Do it. Got it? No, your mic is still muted. Uh-oh. Huh. Maybe push to talk?
It
Do you
looks
have a
you muted completely.
I think I got it.
Yay, there we
Did I
go.
get it? Hey! Hi, I'm Eris. I'm a local. I've been nerfing for 8 years, even though I'm only 17.
Very cool. Wonderful. Okay, so with that, I was really hoping that we were able to bring in Brandon today. I talked with him earlier this week through text and trying to get him into the stream, and he was like, yeah, totally, this is gonna be super cool. And I didn't get him, but I wanted to have one little section trying to figure out who the first OG NPC was. That, like, and when I mean that, I mean who was the first Nerf person that wasn't a part of the community? Because obviously we had like Carlos back in the early days, we had Tom, who was a big player back in the early days, obviously Ben, but I mean I don't really consider Ben because he's the game on, he's a staff member here. So like I couldn't figure out if it was Jonathan first or Brandon first. If you were to be asked that question, Jonathan, what would you say? Were you the first OG NPC?
I want to say it's Brandon, to be totally honest with you. I talked about this with Brandon before, and I feel like he said something about being there before I was.
Gotcha. I feel like that's true. When did you start?
Dude, I still had to go from back then, so it was a while ago. It must have been 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah, actually, so because Ben and I were kind of going through the nostalgia train all last week, doing the little story time, like how we came to be in this space and how the Nerf Wars actually started. I feel like Ben, what did we settle on? Did we say that we started hosting Nerf Wars in 2015 or 2014?
I want to say it was 2015.
2015? Okay. Yeah, because we got a comment or a question from Pistachio Nerf asking how long have we been doing Wars at the Gym? I'm pretty sure it's been 5 years. Nearly almost straight through 5 years. So, and it's gone through iterations. We've gone through our flux moments of having good times and bad times, or lots of people and not a lot of people. We've also seen a lot of NPCs come and go. And GDOP 26, no, GDOP, come back. But that's okay. Very cool. All right, fantastic. So with that out of the way, I wanted to know, let's say this, in stream, or like who we have here, if Jonathan was the longest nerfer here, well actually, yeah. And then Eris, when did you join? Because you joined by coming to the family battles for a little bit, right?
Yeah, I started coming periodically to the family battles, and I never did it regularly.
Do you remember when the first one that you joined was?
It was back in the old gym.
The like the first one, like the scary cave.
Yeah, I think so. I'm not sure. I might be remembering wrong. It might have been in the old gym, not the old gym. I don't remember.
Gotcha. Okay. It would have been. I think it would have had to have been the last one, which we moved to the second location in 2014, and then I don't think we really started Nerf Wars truly until 2015. So probably would have been somewhere around there. But yeah, so technically Eris was one of the first OG NPCs as well, but obviously during our family battles and not the normal Friday one. The Friday one, we do have a strict cutoff of 15. We get a lot of people that are like, I'm 14, I really want to join. And it's like, yes, I really want to include you, but you got to make a cutoff somewhere. And if we allow 14-year-olds, then maybe there's going to be a 13-year-old that's like, oh, well, you let a 14-year-old in, can I join too? And then it just starts snowballing from there. And it's like, it's really hard to cultivate the kind of atmosphere that we're going for. I really like what we have going on Fridays. It's something that is like really near and dear to my heart. And so we try to curate that as best we can. It really hurts. It hurts my soul when I have to tell a 14-year-old, like, no, man, we'll just come back next year. It'll be worth it, I promise. But yeah, that is what it is. So I think if we say, if Jonathan started coming around in 2015, who was next that's in stream? Who came first, Nate or Ian?
I'm pretty sure it was. I asked Ian to come in 1 week. I don't think he ever stopped.
So, did you come like a week after Nate came to his first one, or was it pretty long after? You're muted, Ian.
Oh, I changed my text-to-speech button, and I forgot. Okay, so what it was Nate went. I couldn't go that night because I had like a doctor's appointment that day, and 2 weeks later, when Nate came the next time, that was when we both came.
Oh man, we've got Brandon. Wait, Brandon. Oh no. I'm gonna try somebody. Let's see. Oh man, I'm gonna try to get Brandon in here while I attempt to also explain and talk and do whatever. Okay. So cool. with that said, and then obviously, Alex, you came in relatively recently, right? Did you ever get to join a Friday night in the old space, or have you only been here since we moved into this new space right now?
I have only known the new space, and I'm pretty sure it was Nate that I found someday, and he invited me to go. And I was also with other Nates, who's not here at the moment, but I think I went to them. Actually, he's been on a ride pretty much consistently.
Very cool, very cool. Very nice. So, with that said, I don't want to direct this too much. I kind of just want this to be an open-ended conversation. So, without really talking over each other, how did you all find us? And how did you all find out about these battles? And what made you come? Like, were you a Nerfer before, or like what got you into the hobby? Again, if you want to talk, you got to use your push to talk.
I guess I'll start then. So I started getting Nerf guns for like Christmas and birthdays and stuff like that. But I think when I found this, when I was looking to purchase Spring Thunder, I happened to see a post about it. Watch streams until they started coming.
Alright, I guess I'll go next. It was... actually, I started up with parkour first. This is before any of the Nerf battles happened, so I found the gym through parkour. I was taking gymnastics, and I got bored of it, so I decided, you know what's more cool than gymnastics? And the logical answer, of course, is parkour. So, this being the only parkour gym that was local at the time, decided, hey, let's give that a shot, and it was the best decision I've ever made.
Brandon's in the Discord, by the way, Charlie. To get
Yeah,
out.
I'm trying to bring him in right now. That's why I'm not really talking that much. I'm trying to do this quick.
All right, so I was not really a Nerfer too much before Nate brought me in. I had a Night Finder when I was a kid, and that was about it. And so when Nate introduced me to the Nerf Wars, I then proceeded to go out and buy a Chaos, which I kind of got known for having modded. And ever since then, I've been I've been working on my custom blaster design that I've been working on for the last 5 months.
I believe I just added Brandon.
Yep, I'm here.
Yay! It's Brandon. Brandon has no icon.
Yeah, I don't really use Discord much. I have like 2 other channels I'm a member of, and one's like a friend's gaming server. So
Very cool. Brandon, something that you missed, or maybe you said it in chat. I couldn't see. When do you think you started coming to the Friday Night Nerf War?
oh man, I think it must have been 2015 or 2016. I think it was the winter when I started. But yeah, it's been a long time. It was definitely in the old space.
Very cool. Yeah, I think so you must have come right after we really started hosting the Friday Night Nerf battles. Yeah,
and I think
true
it
OG.
was. At the time, it was only I think once a month that we were doing them. It wasn't every week.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I think it was like once a month on like the 3rd Friday or something like that. And
Yeah.
I seem to remember it was just like at the beginning, it was just like, John, Ben, you, Paul, and me, and then Tom. I don't think there was a lot of other people that I really remember.
Oh, Paul. Oh, too soon.
I know, right?
Who else remembers
Okay,
Paul?
then.
No, he's not here. We're talking about Paul. Sorry, my wife was over there in the background.
Okay, so in that case, Brandon, you've been coming longer than I have, so you're the original NPC.
We gotta get him a medal.
Can we get him like a first place medal with like some sort of emoticon that would just like
Yeah, can't you give me like some flair on the or something?
Yeah, right. We'll have to make you like a special Discord role or something. Oh, gee. Oh, I forgot. Liam, how did you, or like you started this year as well, like this last fall semester?
Yeah, at your Nerf Wars, we started. Me and some of my HVZ friends started coming over from RIT to play. I think it was definitely this fall that we started at your place. But I've been nerfing and like modifying blasters and shooting my brother with them like for like 10 years.
Cool. All right. So if we've discovered who the OG NPC is, now we have to figure out who the first nerfer was. Who can say they were a nerfer? They identified as a nerfer earlier than 2015.
Definitely not me.
Me.
Okay, we got Arison.
Yeah,
I need to figure out when blasters came out.
Yeah, Charlie, you have to remember I'm old, one, and two, I don't know if when I was a kid I would consider myself a nerfer, but I originally started playing in 2009 when I started playing at Geneseo and the HVZ club that was there.
I feel like to be considered a nerfer, a nerfer is an identifier, and so you would need to be cognizant that that Nerf was a hobby and not just have a Nerf blaster and like run around your house, if that makes sense. So you'd have to actually be self-identifying as a nerfer. So who was the first self-identified nerfer? I know for a fact it wasn't me.
I started Nerf modding in, I think it was 2011. That was when I think became an official like Nerf modder and identified as a nerfer. But it started, like I had gotten into battles and stuff back in 2009. That was when I had started getting into like more battle type things, but by the time I got into modding and stuff and like fully got into being a nerfer, that was probably 2011.
2011. Can anybody beat 2011?
I'm counting on my fingers.
might be Eris. I don't know.
I definitely, because of that distinction, I'm definitely not the oldest because I was just a kid messing around with my friends.
I think I joined in around 2012, so I think you got me beat.
Oh man. Okay, very cool. So with that said then, has anybody ever played in a Nerf war at a different community? And that could include, I think that could technically include our local, like the RIT HVZ. I think that would be fine to say, Liam, if you want to. But I would also be really interested in if any of you have gone elsewhere in non-local communities.
I can't say I've been anywhere non-local, but I know I've been going to the RFDL things for a while, but that's about it.
Oh, that's right. We just got Justin Dangler. I'm trying to figure out. I'm trying to coordinate getting Justin in a stream as well as. Oh no, is it Dan from Detroit Dart Talk? Oh man, I can't remember. But I'm trying to bring another guy in from Michigan, from Detroit, Michigan, and talk about how this has impacted Nerf businesses. But yeah, Justin is super cool. He also runs the RFDL in this local area. Keep going. Who else?
I was about to say it's not outer local, but RAT's definitely a cool school, and a lot of us has gone to it. But there is a wellness class at RAT called Nerfology, which was just a bunch of college students taking rival blasters and shooting each other for like an hour and a half. So that was fun. I've done HVZ at RET a few times, but other than that, I don't do Nerf outside of this. I have other hobbies that takes me elsewhere, and it's kind of hard to match the two sometimes. So,
If I could, you go ahead.
I'll let you go, Liam. No, I'll let you go, Liam.
All right, sure. Just to build off of what he said, I'm also at RIT. I've done the Nerfology class and RFDL, but also the other New York HVZ invitationals I've gone to. I think the farthest away I've gone is Binghamton, but I'm hoping to go farther than that next semester.
I would say the first exposure to a Nerf, like a quote unquote Nerf war that I had was one of my friends got like 20 of their friends together back in 2010. This was my first exposure to a Nerf war. Was a bunch of one of my friends, he got like 20 of his friends together, and I got dragged into this thing, and yeah, we were running around the neighborhood shooting each other with Nerf guns in an unofficial war.
Has anybody been to like End War or any other big gathering?
I wish.
No, but they better not cancel it this year because I'm planning on going.
Dude, I can almost guarantee it's gonna be canceled.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were all planning on going to it this year.
This was gonna be my first year going. Figures. First year that I'm able to make it to End War, and you know, this happens. Oh man.
No, it's fine.
One other thing that I'll mention because I just remembered it is I have also organized like just like groups of friends at my home and then in Massachusetts. So that's one other far away, one entire state away from New York.
But did you invite other people besides just your friends?
That's a good question. I don't think I did.
I feel like that would be a requirement for one of our distinctions, but that's fine. That's totally cool. Thank you for sharing. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, Eldos. I just wanted to jump in because, you know, I don't know if G-Dop's in here, but him and I did go to that giant Nerf LARP in Massachusetts, which was probably one of the highlights of Nerfing for me. It was really, really fun. It was like in, where was it? Cape Cod. And it was at like an airsoft field, and they had a village, and there were buildings and a castle and everything like that. And there was over 100 people there. It was that was an amazing experience, and I'd love to do it again. But I've just heard that location got bought out, and they're turning it into like a ShopRite or something, or a Stop and Shop, some sort of grocery store, and they had to sell the field, so they don't play airsoft or Nerf there anymore.
That's tragic.
Yeah, it really does. It's a big loss, but I think they are looking to set up a new location because they run other LARPs. They run airsoft LARPs, Nerf LARPs, more traditional LARPs, and I think they are looking for another location. So I'd like to go back.
What was that called?
Oh man, I'd have to look up the name of the organization that put it on. I can't remember off the top of my head.
Lightning Eagle 14 is asking, dude, you went to Godfall? Does that sound familiar? Is that to you?
I don't think it was called Godfall. I just remember that somebody who posts on the Nerf subreddit was there. He has a Nerf robot that he's made that has like 2 Nemesis attached, and it's all electronic. And it broke down during the event, but it was really, really cool while it ran.
Very cool. Very cool. All right, so let's go into how many of you? I mean, everybody here at some point in time has either modded a blaster and or created a blaster. Who's working on stuff right now, and what do you wanna show?
I'll go.
Do it up.
I'm gonna try to get it on. I've got an open. What is this thing called? This is a fucking Roto Fury. That's what it is. That I'm working on making it take Spring Thunder shells. So that's my current project, and then I also have the barricade up on the wall there. I've cut it down to make it more usable, and then I'm working on putting internal stuff in.
So now, do you have to 3D print a new drum for it? Is that how that functions?
Yeah, that's something that I'll have to do, and it's going to be hard because I'm not at RIT anymore, and I don't have my own 3D printer. So it'll be an adventure.
Very cool. Who else is working on stuff?
I'm working somewhat unsuccessfully on like a lever action takedown. Because, I mean, I don't know, pump action's nice, but I want that old timey feel. Yeah, but I don't know, limited success in it.
Is this where I start singing all by myself? Because technically I'm working on my Caliburn, but it's been broken for God knows how long at this point. One of these days I'll fix it, but
Yeah, what keeps breaking with your Caliburn?
you know, it turns out that Captain Slug has changed his build so many times that we cannot find the correct part anymore. So, it's getting to the point where I'm almost considering just either buying or asking Ian if he would print me just an entirely new Caliburn, at least the 3D printed parts. I can reuse the mechanical, but it's been an adventure.
Nate, you must be working on something.
For a little bit, I was trying to work on making one of those dog tennis ball launchers ordered, but I discovered that it likes to split whatever I put in it. So I figured you wouldn't want that on your board. So I could maybe print something to make it work better.
Can you grab the HPA in the top left or your top right behind you? Can you just show people that real quick?
Yeah, so it's the Waymaker, and it uses a Super Core Spectre Nerf, and it's really nice. It feeds through the handle, so it's really small and it's incredibly light.
Yeah. I remember when you brought that the first time and you're like, you should feel this, it's really light. I'm like, I don't know what you mean by that. And I grabbed it. It's like, oh my God, it's like you're holding nothing. It feels so weird to hold something like that's still so powerful.
It's absolutely the lightest blast drive I've ever held.
We got a question in chat. What is everybody's opinion on Nerf rivals with K26s in them?
I mean, I'm fine with it, more than fine, honestly, since I suppose I have a low bias because I have two Chronoses with K26s. A lot of people have Chronos, at least one Chronos with a K26 in them, but I don't feel like they actually hit that hard. There's never really like a welt left by those. Sometimes a Caliburn can leave a welt because of the velocity of the dart, but honestly, as long as I don't get shot in the eye again, I'm perfectly fine.
I disagree, Jonathan. I've had a welt from getting shot in the face by a K26 Cronus from point blank, 100%.
Yeah, I just have one word, and it's ouch.
Alright, I got my stuff ready, Charlie. It took a little longer than because it froze.
All right, do it.
Alright, so I'm gonna change over to the application here. So this is my main project that I've been working on right now. Most of you would know it from obviously all the failures it's had on stream now. And this is a bullpup chaos mag blaster that I've spent the last 5 months working on. I've taken about a 3-week hiatus on it right now. And I'll show you another one that I'm working on right now too. This is eventually it's going to be a break action revolver that you can swap the cylinders on. It's a flywheeler that can fire any of the dart and rival projectiles.
Very cool.
That's all.
So the rival comment makes me want to ask how do you all like our FPS limit? Do you wish it was higher, or do you think it should be lower, or do you think it's fine?
I think it's perfect. No complaints here.
I feel like with the movement towards, more professional grade blasters, I hate to say that, but with like the new Dart Zone Pro and things like that, I mean, they're coming out of the box at hitting higher than the FPS limit at the arena. So it is a bit of a challenge that you can buy something off the shelf and then actually have to make it worse to bring it down to the level, to fit the criteria. I mean, I don't even have one. It's just, that's kind of my opinion on it.
I would say I really like the variety of blasters out there. Like, there's always something new there. And that, I think, is partially because of the FPS.
AJ, for those of you that, I mean, obviously you don't have a screen share right now, but you should explain what you brought in the other day. I mean, I guess it was a couple weeks ago. But yeah, you should explain what you just made and what it is and how it works.
I'd like to say that I made it, but I really didn't. It was... Oh, shoot, I had his thing around his place. But anyway, it's basically... It's a long tube with a fan at one end and then 3 flywheels at the other. And you just feed rivals through, and the fan just shoots the rivals into the flywheels. It's wonderful, and it hits too hard, but I've got a new battery for it. So there's that.
It looks like a 6-foot-long lance. It's insane. It looks crazy. And even if you look down the head of it, it looks like a Demogorgon. It's crazy. It's pretty fun. Okay, back to the cap. Let's talk about cap.
I actually really like the cap because I feel like it's at the perfect range between not having to wear like face protection, but still high enough where you can get that mid-tier like performance blaster kind of I guess.
I feel like I always it's always sad when you see something that shoots, let's say, just over like 150. You're like, yeah, and it would allow for, maybe this is weird to say, but it would allow for different classifications. Like if we were to allow Dave, for instance, we should have gotten Dave on the stream. That would have been hilarious to watch Dave try to figure out Discord. But regardless,
Oh my god,
if we were to let like a sniper class, if that's what you want to call it, fire at 150, the only challenge that comes with that is regulating under what circumstances are you allowed to fire that blaster at that velocity at somebody, and then what happens when you are surprised by somebody that runs in, let's say, 10 feet from you. Are you forced to switch to a sidearm? Are you not allowed to fire your blaster at them because it's, obviously really hard hitting? That's the issue that I've got with that. Yeah,
I mean, I think the airsoft community has already addressed that great. I mean, that's a restriction. The FPS restrictions are a thing at every field I've ever played at, and people who use snipers are restricted from using them within a certain amount of distance, and they do have to use a sidearm.
Whoa, we've got somebody in chat, Matthew Becker, saying that they play at 200 FPS in an indoor CQB airsoft arena. That sounds insane.
That sounds like it hurts.
I mean, like, so we used to, we even, for those of you that are in chat and just watching, we stopped using worker darts, I want to say a year ago. We were toying around with them a year or so ago, or a little bit before, and yes, they fly super straight, and yes, it's really fun to use them. It's not really fun to get hit by a 130 FPS blaster from 10 feet away. And I think the issue, the reason why I feel like 130 is a really good sweet spot for us in the arena, and it's a little bit different now, because in the old gym, I would say the average range of engagement was more often than not 10 to 15 feet. Like the amount, or like the close range of it was significantly greater. We just didn't have enough open space. But now, fast forward to today, we've got this wonderful arena that hopefully we'll be able to play in again sometime in the near future. And our engagement distances, I would say, typically are at least 20 feet until somebody randomly breaks through and is able to get to a piece of cover that's 10 feet away from you. I feel like those instances are pretty few and far between, right?
I would say it's mostly when we do like flank attacks and stuff. That's when we really close the gap on like snipers.
I know that my playstyle personally, I don't do any long range engagement at all. I'm always up close, and I'm always being hit by the snipers in the face because I'm always trying to, like, you know, get behind cover and sneak my way through without people noticing me. And that it puts me in a really tricky position a lot of the times when there's a lot of people that have like rapid fire blasters that are shooting at really high FPS, and I'll just get hit by 30 darts in the face in the span of 1 second. It's ouch. I don't know. I've definitely ran into that few too many times.
Okay, so Matthew's qualifying it by saying the arena is 20,000 square feet, just so that everybody understands what this arena is. The actual play area is probably only like 4,500 square feet, so their arena is 4 times larger, which is huge.
I think for the FPS cap, I think it's low enough so that people with stock dart blasters, like Nerf, just like my friend is using a stock strike, basically. I think it's at a point where he can still have, he can still be competitive, and I like that. I don't think you should have to spend however much it costs to buy a Dart Zen Pro or whatever.
I do agree with you. The one thing that I would say about that, though, is that I have used stock blasters to great success a lot of times that I've been at the gym, and I think that the CQB nature of where we play does allow for stock blasters to still be viable, because we're not playing it like I know that the other group in Rochester plays it in large like soccer fields, so their range is king because you're able to pick people off from 100 feet if you have the ability, and moving up is hard. But I think with our arena, it's very easy to sneak and to kind of go around and still get tags with stock blasters.
Yeah, like you were saying, it's not really about the kind of blaster and the FPS. It's all about like combining the two, basically, like changing your strategy if you do have a stock blaster, moving when they don't notice and stuff like that.
I feel like the meta that we've had recently in the gym has been shifting. So I remember originally, back before like the Percys came out, we had a lot of more snipers and long range engage play styles. And then for a while when the Percys came out, we had a lot of full auto, a lot closer engage ranges, and a lot of times, sure, you had your snipers like Jonathan and Dave and Nate, but most of the time we had guys that were running like Percys, Spring Thunders, Ben with his Jupiter, and his Nemesis and all that. So we had, and then it started dying down again, and we eventually got back to where we had more close range engages, while you still had your guys who have been the snipers still playing as the snipers to this day. And yeah, so like I just feel like the meta just is constantly changing. So 1 week we might be playing short range, other weeks we might be playing further range.
And another week you might have like 5 or 6 shields. Who knows?
That's true. We have had a lot of shields in the gym recently.
Yeah, I agree with everyone. Just where our FPS limit and the nature of how we're playing. Just even if you have a stock blaster, that's why I'm very comfortable with inviting people here, because I don't. As long as they get the hang, once they get the hang of it, I don't think they're just going to be destroyed. I don't think they're practically not going to get to play. Like, let's take Sam and Tavin. I saw Sam in the chat. I don't know where Tavin is right now, but I brought them in. Granted, Tavin had a Percy somehow was the first night he came in, but once he got the hang of it, he was really good. Like, he was hitting me from angles I didn't even see. He was moving forward with the teammate, covering other people. So even with the stock blaster, as much stock as a Percy's is, he was very effective.
So we got Lightning Eel 14 in chat saying that his rules allow people with blasters at the upper end of the FPS cap to carry a sidearm for close tags and on younger players. So I assume that would mean that you would be required to wear a sidearm, and then thus you would be required to use your sidearm if somebody were within the minimum engagement distance, I assume.
I don't know about you guys, but I feel like if I don't have like a proper rig on me, it's really hard for me to carry a sidearm. And it's even less, I don't know, I feel like I don't often use those kind of things, even if I did have.
I feel like a lot of us don't use tack vests.
Just put it on your arm.
You put it on your arm like NPC.
I mean, I don't know if you can say I have a proper loadout. Really, all I have is my drop leg holster, right? But all I bring besides my primary is the modded what is the Rebel Hammer Shot called again? Whatever it's called. I just had that, a belt, and my drop leg holster, and that's really all I carry around.
I have tried to use different full vest rigs and sidearms and grenades and sock bombs and melee weapons and all that kind of stuff over the years, and I have just discovered that it's a lot more fun just to have one blaster that works well and just play slightly differently, where you don't have to use those other accoutrements to succeed tactically.
Just to add in, I think that personally, like I have like hammer shots and a chaos Chronos. That's what it is. That like I've tried having it in my pocket when I've been playing, and like because I go up and down on the obstacles, it always falls out, and then I break it several times. I've broken in blasters that way several times. For me, I think that socks, like those are so much more useful than another blaster, and I'm happy to carry those. And I don't, if I had to have if I had to carry a hammer shot, I think I would just have my Caliburn be under the limit to where I didn't have to use a sidearm.
We've got Matthew Becker. Go ahead.
I do agree with you, or at least I did up until the point where I did get my drop leg holster. Once I got it and got used to wearing it, actually, there's been a few times where I've forgotten a belt, and that doesn't help me if I don't have a belt. And every time I come up behind someone, I always just feel a little bad about in the back when I could have had a lesser power blaster right next to me, and it's gotten me out of a few scrapes where I run out of ammo, people start charging me, and then I just happen to have my secondary on me. So I guess it's a matter of perspective, but I would always say if you're really getting into this, just try to drop leg closer. It honestly doesn't add that much, and it adds a lot of utility, I think.
Okay, so a quick jump back into the last topic on like what you do about minimum engagement distances with higher powered blasters if we were to allow that to happen. Matthew Becker is saying that they use an open palm hand tag rule for people with high powered blasters firing at like inside or dealing with people inside their minimum engagement distance. That seems interesting. It's kind of like it turns itself. We already do that for HVZ. I wonder if we could do something like that here. What are your thoughts?
No!
No, you don't want that?
My precious throwing knives will be useless.
I mean, you can still use the throwing knives.
I don't.
But it's way less cool when you can just touch them.
I don't think your throwing knives will be useless. It's like, for throwable melee weapons, you can throw it at someone before they notice you. To me, it's significantly harder to creep up behind someone without making some sort of noise. And there's been several times where I've tried to make a flank on someone, they hear me just whirl around and shoot me in the chest. And I'm like, darn.
I agree. But when you get to a point where if anybody, I don't know if this would be simply for people who have like blasters on the upper ends of the FPS limit or what, but if anyone can just tag someone out with their hand, it makes close range engagement like way more dangerous, because it doesn't matter about whether you have a melee weapon. It doesn't matter if you have a option that's a small blaster that you can use in close quarters. It's just like you just tag them, and so all those options kind of become a little obsolete, at least in the very close ranges. It's sort of like the mid ranges shouldn't change that much, but like, I don't know. Oh, what's going on with Ben's stream?
Yeah, Ben's got some weirdness going on right now.
Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah. Yep. Your video was going all weird.
Okay. I kind of feel like that if you have a weapon that works really well long range, you should not be at advantage at close range as well, because naturally you're advantaged already at long range, so like that is what you've chosen your loadout to be good at. And naturally every single loadout, no matter what kind of blaster you use, has good things about it and bad things about it. It makes gameplay somewhat easy to balance, because no matter what kind of weapon you use, it's going to self-balance to some extent. So by adding that rule in, like we haven't experienced this, I haven't experienced this rule, but I kind of feel like if you have a sniper weapon and somebody runs around a corner, I feel like having to like quickly grab a blaster out of a holster, that time that it takes to do that, rather than just reach out and tag somebody, is counterbalancing the ease that you're able to shoot people at long range. Like, I feel like it's fair.
But we don't put any restrictions on what people can carry as far as melee weapons and stuff, right? So I mean, like, somebody could still have, a knife or even a sword in their offhand that they're priming with, and I mean, they still would be an advantage at long range and close range, because there are no restrictions on what people can use.
Right, but now you have two things you have to manage. It's like just reaching out and tagging somebody is a little bit different than like trying to hit them with a throwing knife or something. And like if you have a regular knife, I guess it's not any different.
I might also say with You guys don't really have like proper team not bandoliers, but vests and stuff like that. And you guys change up teams a lot. And so it'd be kind of weird if like somebody ran across and I didn't realize he was my enemy and he just tagged me. I'd be kind of annoyed about that, but it'd be something that I would get used to too.
We used to, I think.
Wait, what did we used to do?
Remembering, we used to have one team had minis on. I think it might have been all the way back in the family that went on.
That
Maybe
was
it
a
just
long.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, the pennies. Yeah, we did that a long time ago.
That was a thing, but I don't know. It was just it's a hassle. And having the flags like we do now it works well enough. Because so long as there's not so many people in the gym that you start losing track of who's who, then it does get a bit confusing if we have like too many people showing up.
Charlie, I'm gonna try not to break things. I'm adding Kareem.
Oh man, you might kill the stream right here.
I hope not. Not my fault if it does.
So, hey Ben, being the game mod and coming up with rules and kind of balancing things, I can't remember because I've never actually done it. If you have a rolled up sock in your hand, does that count as a taggable, or does it have to be thrown? Or could you literally just run up behind somebody and tag them with it while it was in your hand?
It does count as a melee taggable, so you can either throw it or you can whack somebody with it while it's still in your hand. Either.
Okay. So, I mean, I guess that's kind of a balance to the tagging people rule, because you could technically have a sock in your hand, run through somebody's spawn, and just start tagging people with it, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yo, we got Dave in chat. Dave, get on Discord. Do we have space? Can we get Dave on Discord?
I think we might be. I don't know if there's a limit on this group or not, but we'll
I think
see.
it's 100, isn't it? I thought there was like a 100-person limit.
Somebody try to get Dave on Discord.
All right, so I kind of wasn't exactly paying attention the last like 10 minutes. I'm sorry, but all I know is we're doing something about taggables.
Yeah, like having tag rules. Somebody was saying that they do a tag rule that if, let's say, you don't have a sidearm to use for somebody that enters your minimum engagement distance, like if we were allowed Dave to use his Dart Zone Pro the way he wants to use his Dart Zone Pro, which nobody else wants Dave to use his Dart Zone Pro the way that Dave wants to use his Dart Zone Pro, but regardless, if we let that happen, now what happens when you sneak up on him and you're 10 feet away? We should not allow him to still shoot you with his 150 or whatever it happens to be blaster. So then it would default back to a minimum engagement distance rule of he would have to either tag you or use a sidearm, like that kind of idea.
Okay, in that case, I mean, sock bombs are always convenient to have.
That's true. Sock bombs are pretty easy as well.
Because, I mean, you could just, like, shove them right in the pocket, pull it out real fast, or even if you're gonna do it the jank way, you can, like, duct tape it to the side of your blaster, rip it off, and throw it.
I'm actually kind of surprised at how few people use socks, and I say that as somebody that doesn't use socks.
Where's John? He uses them all the time.
I have always wanted to run socks, and for a while I did. I had a belt or a vest, and I was running them as part of that rig. But as soon as I ditched the belt and the vest, there's really no easy way to hold them. And my plan was to find some way to attach them to the side of my Nemesis, and I just haven't gotten around to it. But I think socks absolutely make gameplay better. It's really helpful to have something small that you can just throw around the corner.
Have you Velcro to socks?
Nate, just so you know, you're really quiet.
Let's speak up then.
I heard that though.
Okay.
So yeah, I have thought about trying to Velcro it. I was trying to figure out if I should just like get the rough side with like a double stick or whatever, sticky on the back, and put that on the side of the Nemesis. But I end up running and jumping around a lot. Like I'm very active movement-wise in the field, and I don't know if the stock bombs would be strong enough with kind of Velcro to not fly off while I'm moving around. So that's something I have to like set up and then test it out and see if that actually works, because that would be like really ideal if I could.
I was considering if this HVZ semester were going to be active, I was gonna go and be a sock ninja and have like a billion socks and use Velcro essentially. I was gonna make a total rig just for socks, and I was gonna try to run like 50 socks.
Yeah, there was a guy at HVZ at the HVZ Invitational RIT, I think 2 years ago. I think people were calling him Sock Priest, and he basically had like a huge trench coat on, and the entire thing was covered in socks. Like he probably had over 100, and he was a big dude, so like there were a lot of socks on him.
I've seen people at the RIT one as well. They do like the mesh net, like they'll make a giant fish net essentially out of socks. They must use like 30 socks alone just for these crazy things. It's insane.
Yeah, I think. I was just gonna say, I think socks are. I mean, at least at RIT for HVZ, they're a requirement because you can't take out special zombies without them. So I mean, it's nice in the gym that when we play HVZ, you can use socks or you can use blasters, which I really like. I don't really like the whole special zombie rule where you have to take them out with socks, but it's just a personal thing.
Is there, just to maybe put this out there, just because we haven't had an opportunity to just meet together like this and talk, is there something that you've seen done elsewhere besides a blaster FPS cap or other thing? Are there other features or other mechanics that you've seen in other communities or just on video or anything else like that that we don't allow here that you would be interested in bringing up? Like, this should be something that we could do, or I don't know.
I mean, sorry.
Oh,
you can
he's
go.
taking
you can
it.
go.
Oh, we got Eris. Okay, go.
One thing that I've seen a lot that we don't do is having ammunition types be important in different ways. Whether for clearing objectives or taking down shields, or we only do a one tag for any kind of projectile, so you can't really do like some are like more powerful than others. But
oh man, this was actually recently. So I did an edit recently of what was the title? Should blaster tags count? That was the question. And that generated more comments than pretty much any video other than live streams, obviously. More comments than I've ever seen. And people were coming out of the woodwork being like, how could you have an arena and like not count blaster tags? It was kind of crazy how many people were like, no, all blaster tags should count, yada, 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 going through. And then a lot of that was like, my rationale, and I believe what Ben's rationale was when we created this rule, was that the more ammo types you create and the specialty of the ammo types, it creates moments where if somebody doesn't know that you hit them with a mega dart or a vortex dart or a sock bomb or anything else like that, you have to do what I call stop and alert, where, and I've seen Nate do this so many times because not Nate in stream, other Nate, actually, this is easy. Nate's going by Claire now. So Claire uses Vortex a lot. Typically, you can't feel Vortex when Claire hits you. So very often, Claire puts her hand up, runs across the arena, and says, I got you on your shoulder. And then you go, oh, shucks. And then, you put your arm up and you go away because you don't feel it. And the number of times I've seen that happen already, and then to possibly have it be like against shields or shield breaker rules or anything else like that, it feels to me like that would create a much greater situation for that to happen. And I feel like that's not what we should be trying to do, but I'm open to suggestions.
Yeah, I've had a lot of the similar problems with knife tags, because people do not feel knife tags, especially if it's sneaky and they don't even know I'm there and it's between a bar or under a box or around the side of a box or something. People just don't notice, and then I have to reveal my position, walk out and say, hey, I got you, in which the process of which I also get out, and it just makes a lot of things really difficult. And I mean, there have been
you got to use a sharper knife.
Yeah, there have been entire games where I knew that, like I knew someone should have been out, and then they went on to win the game, and then I had to say, hey, you know, I tagged you with a knife, and they're like, oh. So yeah, I definitely understand that causes those problems. Yeah.
So I will say that the majority of my history of Nerf has actually been, actually I shouldn't say the majority, the entire first half of my history of Nerf before we started running battles at the gym was entirely mixed ammo type damage. So elite darts, your vortex discs, mega darts, rival rounds, they all did different amounts of damage, and it was always you had to stop and do math. And there would be an instance where 3 people would run out and they would all be shooting each other, and then there was like 45 seconds where everybody was just like, okay, pause, what did you shoot me with? Okay, and then I shot you with this, and then you shot that person with that, and then you know what, why don't we just all go out? And it was very confusing, and it stopped the gameplay for an absurd amount of time, and it was impossible to tell in moments where you just get sprayed with lots of darts. You don't know what hit you, how many hit you. It was extremely challenging. So that's why we just went to everything counts as one hit kill, and all darts do equal function. They're all exactly the same. They all do the same thing. It just, the simplicity of that really made the game run extremely smooth and removed all of the complexities. It did remove complexity, which was nice to have in some situations, but also removed all of the challenges that were entirely brought on because of that.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think it's like one of my favorite parts about doing it at the gym is they, you know, it's just one shot, and it makes everything so much easier. You don't have to worry about counting respawns or tag limits or, yeah, it's just math. It's not fun. It's great when a computer can do it in a video game. It's not great when you have to do it when you're running around. Although I do think there still could be applications for different projectile types in the sense of game objectives, or like specifically with like the missiles. The missiles are really clear. When you've been hit by a missile, or if a missile hits something, it's a lot more obvious than the difference between an elite dart and a mega dart. And I always felt like that could be used more than it is.
Another thing is like sock grenades and stuff like that, sock bombs. I feel like I want to say impact is pretty clear. And that might be something to like break shields and stuff like that, but I don't know. But I'm sure that's been brought up.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree on that, because, you know, Ben, I agree with like the one ammo type is an out. You know, I think that's a great system. You know, since I've been playing here for a while, though, that was really enacted and really successful before the advent of shields, which we have just started doing probably within the last year, and it's become like you basically have to use a shield in some instances because they're, in my opinion, very powerful. And so I would like to see either rockets or socks, because I think both of those are very clear that they hit, especially on a plastic shield. I would love to see something like that for shield busters, because I know other groups do that with success, and because of our CQB nature, it's just like sometimes you can lock down an entire area with just a semi-auto and even like a kid sled shield. It doesn't even have to be like that tower shield that guy uses, you know. I just feel they're very powerful.
So with that, so if under those rules. If we consider blasters as shields, because technically, effectively, that's what they are. You are holding a shield. It just so happens that you can also fire a dart or other projectile out of that shield. If you create an ammo type that breaks a shield, should that ammo type break a blaster?
I
My
would say yes.
interpretation of how this kind of thing works would be that if it hit your shield, you would just be out. It wouldn't like destroy your shield or anything. But go on, Ben.
Yeah, I was gonna say, define break your blaster. What does that mean? What would you have to do if it broke your blaster?
From what my understanding is, or at least what people were suggesting when they were talking about the shield breaking rules, if a shield were to be broken, it would be unusable for the rest of the round.
I think it makes a lot more sense to have it just be something that if you get tagged with it, regardless of again, and I think it goes back to what we were saying before about like sitting and doing math. Like you have to remember, like, is this one been hit? Is that one been hit? I don't know. People might have multiple things, or if people have a lot of blasters or something, that can get confusing, and it creates a lot more in-game conflicts as well, where people say, "Oh, I thought I hit it," and you're like, "Oh, I didn't hear it. Oh, you didn't see that," or whatever. I think it's a lot easier and simpler if it's just like you get hit by insert ammo type that's big and chunky, you're out. Regardless of whether it hits shield, blaster, or anything, it's just like it's a way to bypass shields, not so much as break them.
This is an interesting tidbit. Justin is saying when they run kill confirm or medic rules, the dart would force you to take a knee, as in like you're frozen. We have the rule of put your arm up. They have the rule go down to your knee. But if you are tagged with melee or a grenade, then it bypasses that and you immediately have to go to respawn. I think that's interesting. That's a very simple, like, you know, if you got hit by melee. It happens so rarely too.
I think that'd be an interesting game mode to try out and stuff like that. Maybe not replacing any of the game mode, definitely.
Yeah, I think that's worth trying out. I'm gonna interject here. I was trying not to interrupt anyone. I agree with the one dart means one kill thing. I think that the gym runs really smooth on those rules. I also agree with Brandon that the shields coming prevalent means we might need to take a little bit different tack on it. I like the sock or rocket type thing. But as I recall, there was a game mode where someone would take multiple hits. Brandon, Ben, and Charlie, do you remember Juggernaut?
Oh man, Juggernaut was so challenging.
Yeah, that was a game mode where one person, you'd had to hit them multiple times to take them down. However, that was the game mode where it was literally everyone versus one, because it was named Juggernaut. We also had a game mode, I can't remember, we might have done it for both Hunger Games and Free For All, where you had to count the number of your hits, and we only did this in small groups, of course. But I remember I suggested a way to do that, and this won't work for shield hits, but it's something to think about. You took whatever ammo you weren't using. So if you were using a rival blaster, you would take like 5 darts, and if you were using darts, you would take 5 rival rounds. And every time you hit someone, you would drop one. That way, it was an easy way to tell and remember how many hits you actually had.
So there's actually an interesting game mode that I'm gonna still working through the idea and the concept of it, making sure the physics work. But there's something along the lines of that where it's gonna be a free for all style game mode, and it will be one hit kill still, but it will be free for all based, and you'll be able to you'll have to like not call your hits like on other people, and you won't have to like count that per se, but it will be like one person TDM kind of thing.
Interesting. So, I mean, I still remember in Juggernaut we would literally whenever we hit the Juggernaut we would just scream whatever number came next. So I still remember just like screams of 1, 2, 3 in a row, and I'm going, what?
We got Burning Newt in chat saying, I'm biased, but I'm against shield break penetrate. With all the restrictions already on shield use and the greatly reduced mobility taking away the advantage of the protection would make them bad.
Okay, well, Sam, I agree.
Oh, is that
on
Sam?
That's Sam. I agree with that for you specifically because your shield's really unwieldy. I tried it, but I think it's more like, say, this is in no way a criticism of you, Nate. Like Nate's Caliburn shield, or what, like the small shields people have been carrying. We have, what was the restriction? 1 foot by 1 foot. You can use any blaster with it. That's
correct.
Starting to become a problem in my experience. It, like, whenever I'm trying to shoot Dave now, I've got a very limited amount of area where I can shoot Dave now. Otherwise, if he sees it coming, he's just gonna thwack it away with either his blaster or his shield, and there's really nothing I can do about it.
So we actually have a potential fix for that we're going to try. Next event we'll make an announcement, and then the week after we will implement it. So that should help with that issue.
Nerf Builder saying he wants to see some human versus zombie. We did that once, didn't we?
Yes, I think we tried something like that. I really want to do more of that, especially now that we have a lot.
I remember doing that. It was a lot of fun. The zombies always won. I don't know, we'd only done it a couple times.
Zombies do pretty much always win.
I don't remember this. Was this in one of the 2 6-month periods where I literally couldn't come?
You might have been on co-op, actually.
No.
It was pretty fun though. I've been meaning to try. So I feel like even with the bigger space that we have now, we were pretty excited to try out some more like 3-team battles, and we did that recently. I don't know if it was just the makeup of people that we had, or the number of people that we have, or just the general layout. Maybe we didn't really know exactly how to lay it out, because it worked decently well in the old space, but the old space was just, it was a different layout. It was easier to break things up into the 3 factions, and here it was a little bit harder. But I feel like if we do our due diligence to make sure that the layout is balanced, I really want to do more 3-way battles.
That's another thing I was planning on trying to see if I can implement.
I know you guys have done this before, but have you guys thought about more like asymmetric game modes where I remember my dad talked about like a really old paintball game with like it's like aliens versus humans or something like that. That's kind of cool, but I forgot at this point. But more asymmetric things would be interesting. But you guys,
can you explain that more?
Not too much, but well, I don't know. A lot of game modes have just like 2 sides have exactly the same thing, and they're mostly exactly the same objectives and rules and stuff. And it's stuff like the Rogue One game, where there was each side has a different objective or thing they're trying to do. Those kind of things are interesting.
Dave's here, by the way.
Whoa, it's Dave.
Hey, Dave.
Okay, so I tried this. I feel like we've tried this twice, and I've been meaning to get together with Ben and figure out a way to do it in the new space. But I had this idea for a game mode that actually kind of I thought of from watching Samurai Jack, and we have these tall areas that sometimes get used, but they don't always get used. And the reason why they don't always get used is because if you're not typically on top of the city, or if we don't have like a mat or anything that's up on top of the tunnel by the warped wall, you're probably gonna get tagged nearly instantly when you're up there. But if we were to create a game mode, and we did this at least once, where we called them archers. You had 3 archers or 2 archers or however many people you have at the match that day, and they would be restricted to the tall areas. They might have some cover, they might really not have that much cover. And then you have 2 teams that are trying to circumnavigate the arena, and they're working with each other and against each other, in that one team is trying to circumnavigate a certain number of times, and they've got checkpoints that they have to get through. They have their own unique path. The other team had their own unique path to try to get through. The first team that got 3 revolutions or whatever won. And obviously, if the archers could hold them off and make the game mode last, let's say, 10 minutes, then the archers won. And it was interesting. It was definitely challenging to do in the old space, and we could really only do it with small numbers. I would be interested to see what happens if we do it in our space now with like the 20-some people that we've been polling recently.
Oh man, that's a throwback. When you started that, I was like, what are you talking about? Then when you started explaining, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that game mode. I remember it being really fun. Like it was definitely interesting in that it's sort of like the dichotomy we had in the recent Gold Rush / Leprechaun game, where you had the 2 teams had like sort of a truce at the start, right? Otherwise, you're never going to break the Leprechauns. But at a certain point, the truce kind of collapsed and the team started fighting as well. And that was the opportunity for the Leprechauns to sweep in and try and take back what was theirs.
Was anybody else here for that? Ben, you were here for that.
Yes, I was.
We should do that
I
again.
was there for that as well.
Wait, which one?
The 3 archers, where you have to do Brandon, you were also there for that. The 3 archer game mode.
Yeah, I mean, I remember we used to do, when I guess numbers were smaller, we used to do a lot of unique gameplay. Like there was like the tank one, Ben, where like one person was a tank and had the demolisher missile. They had to, it was a demolisher missile, I think, and like they had to tag people out with that, and they could only be stunned. Like those things were kind of fun.
Yeah, whenever we have smaller amounts of people, especially if they're veterans, usually are like, hey, you want to like try and come up with some new game modes or something?
Is anybody else sad a little bit that we're pulling such large numbers recently and kind of miss the old days with just like 6 people?
Oh, definitely.
Not gonna lie, when I first started, we only had like 9 people or something showing up consistently, and if that. And
somebody I stepped on the grill the one time.
Yeah.
Who's that, Dave? Who is that?
That was Dave. That's Dave. He's on his phone. He's all muffled. But yeah, no, back only in September when it was just like, oh, Brandon had his modded Hera. That was the only like relatively fast firing thing we had to worry about. But yeah, it was like the small groups. I kind of missed the small groups back when I first started playing with y'all.
I mean, Charlie, would it be possible, as bad as this is gonna sound, would it be possible to have like some sort of event where we invite some of the veterans and get together and have that small group feel again? I realize this sounds really bad, but if everyone's got this sense of nostalgia. It might be worth it to try and set something up like that.
Birthday parties are always a great excuse.
Oh, except my birthday's gone. So
Well,
that's
yeah,
ready.
And somebody in chat just suggested a beta test group, which I think is kind of a good idea.
That's kind of interesting, actually.
I like that. Oh, hey, Dave.
We have Dave on video, but he's muted still.
Dave! We can't hear you.
I don't know how to work any of this.
Works just fine.
Your camera works fine, you're just a little muffled otherwise.
I hear 5 Jonathans on just reaching.
We can hear him fine now.
I don't know, it kind of sounds like he's underwater to me.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, I don't want to have Dave shouting over here, but whatever your voice was just then, that was perfect.
Okay.
I mean, Charlie, you could also probably turn him up a little bit on your Discord.
Oh, how do I do that?
Right click on his video and then user volume turn up.
I wonder if that doesn't work because I have it popped out. So that might...
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Oh well. We're nearing the end anyway, so.
At least we got Dave in here at some point.
Yeah, right. When do you think we'll be active again?
Who knows?
So, the optimistic part of me is saying maybe sometime in the summer, because this mysterious component which prevents us all from getting together doesn't do well in heat. So theoretically in summer, but the really pessimistic part of me says it won't be for a while. I feel like until the day that the government has vaccinated most, if not all, of the people in the country at least, and if not the world, then maybe all the restrictions will be lifted. Until that day, we will always have restrictions because of what this is and how it's spread.
Yeah, it's gonna be a while. I'm okay, based off of what I heard, I'm gonna say maybe late summer, early fall at the earliest, before like things become relatively normal again. But obviously it's not gonna be normal, but it's gonna be, there's still gonna be cases of things going on, and it's gonna cause some problems, but I think eventually, hopefully sometime in the next few months, we'll get over it enough that we can do our normal thing on Fridays. At least maybe some Fridays.
I'm pretty sure End War's gone. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be over.
Yeah, I have a feeling if End War is probably gonna be gone this year. Sad face.
Oh yeah, no, the national competition that I got an invite to, that's gone. There's no way it's happening. There's no way any competition for me is going on, and I don't think there's going to be large gatherings of people for a while.
Yeah, I definitely hope if N-Word does get canceled and they have to reschedule it sometime, I hope it's back at Penn State again and not down in Georgia.
Yeah, that would be a shame. That would make going a lot more challenging for us.
That would definitely be a hey everybody who wants to carpool down to Georgia.
Dave, is your Dart Zone Pro modded? Somebody's asking in chat.
I got the 3D printed. I got the 3D printed rifling a 90 kg spring put in it that I trimmed down to get me to 130.
Dave, can you move the camera, the phone a little closer and say that again, please?
We need a Dave translator.
Or be a little louder.
Up, down, to...
You're so muffled. Wait, he says. I think he says he has a 9 kilogram spring trimmed down to get to 130. I think that's what he said.
Yeah, and that a white gold 3D printed star.
And a 3D printed scar.
So Ian is the Dave Whisperer.
Ian is the Dave Whisperer.
Apparently.
Oh man, that's fantastic. All right, I'm gonna be closing this out. We've been busy. I feel it's so weird because like, and I mean, granted, it's a little bit of a different position to be in. Obviously, sitting here and having the like not just my personal finances to think about, but obviously the gym's finances to think about and whatnot. But it's just so funny that we got shut down, and then I feel like I still haven't really had a break, and it's just been like, okay, great. Now how do we manage this? And that's what my time's been doing, of just like, okay, I've got to manage this to make sure that everything still continues, and like, how are we gonna deal with this new crisis and this new crisis and yada yada. Just been going back and forth and back and forth. But given all that, I still am thankful that we can see this as the opportunity that it is and do more fun stuff like this and be able to sit down together and chat and have fun and everything. It's been wonderful. So thanks so much for joining. It's been nice to chat with you all and at least like, get together again and have fun. So yeah, thanks for being a part of this, everybody.
Thanks for having us, Eldas.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, thank you. Can't wait to see you guys.
This is great.
Play.
We should do this more often.
Yes.
Yeah,
I'd love to get together and show each other what projects we're working on, almost to keep us motivated. Because for me, I when I'm working on stuff and I don't have anywhere to take it to, it's just sitting around. I'm like, I don't know what to do. That we could, be fun.
We got Ben's showing off his nemesis. What is that? What is this?
You're muted.
Nemesis pistol?
This is going to be the Nemesis. Because it's super tiny like a Zeus, and is gonna kind of feel bullpup like.
Are you gonna participate in the mod party? Mod party tomorrow and all through the weekend. Oh, look at the cell shading, Eris. That's cool. Wait, Eris, bring it back.
I've been working on a few things. I've been making a lot of props, and this will someday be the Jade Rabbit from Destiny, if anyone knows what that is. Yeah, I've got a whole ton of stuff I've been working on that I haven't been able to play with because college.
College.
Guys, I need some motivation to work on my projects. The Kraber has become so decrepit looking since I had to start working on it again, but it's been sitting on the floor for like, I don't know, a month now, untouched.
Just remember, you can always use it upside down.
Just a state. No, I can't even use it now because all the wires are hanging out the side.
That's never stopped me before.
I mean, I could use it as a bludgeoning weapon if you prefer.
No.
Maximum jank.
Ian, what did we just say about blaster tags?
Oh,
No,
man.
that's fine. I missed that part of blaster tags.
All right.
I have an excuse.
I would love to do this more though. And this is like this would be a cool opportunity to get all of us together and like discuss some of the ideas that we've had of like, I mean, granted we talked about some of them here with the different various like variable ammo types and having specific rules for that and what that might mean. Shield rules. and what that has. We have the opportunity right now to kind of put all the groundwork in for what we can beta test when things go live, and I think that'd be pretty cool.
Sounds good.
All right, so with that said, I'm gonna say thanks to all of our wonderful NPCs that were a part of this. Thank you so much for helping me out and having this wonderful, cool conversation. For all of you in chat, thank you so much for being a part of this as well. This is the first time of us kind of really sitting down. This is the first time of me using Discord as well for video. So I feel like I got better as the stream went on, but there are definitely times where people were talking and I was totally highlighted on somebody that was not talking. So I will try to get better at that. Just to bring back to your attention, tomorrow, world's largest mod party. Get there, do something. They'll be streaming to, I think it's Facebook only. I don't think they're streaming to YouTube. It's Facebook, but it's gonna be super cool. There's gonna be a ton of people. I'm gonna be on the tail end of the stream on Sunday. Go be a part of it, mod something, ask questions, go see what everybody else is working on, share your wonderful creative ideas. It's gonna be a blast. And yeah, for everybody else, stay safe, and we will hopefully see you soon. So thank you, everybody. We will see you all next time.